20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks for being with us on this Thursday's Live at 9. As we mentioned a moment ago, Tennessee lawmakers headed back to work this week with committee meetings, and fall sessions begin again Monday. Senator Brian Kelsey joins us live from Germantown this morning. We've gotten our technical issues figured out. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you and your family are well. As I was asking a moment ago, we also had a story that the permitless gun law, which has been very controversial across Tennessee, with law enforcement agencies almost universally coming out against it, even the governor doubting whether it's a good idea. It's back on the table in this abbreviated session. Is that really a priority we need to be paying attention to, since you guys have been out of work for a couple of months?
Well, on the Senate side, Mary Beth, we do not think that this is a priority at this time. We think that we've just got to stick to the basics, and that is we want to keep people safe and healthy, and we want to get them back to work as quickly as possible. And we want to make sure that our local governments are also in a good shape where they and the state can balance its budget. So that's what we're hoping to do on the Senate side, and we hope to do that in 1, maybe 2 weeks at most. And we really think that a lot of these issues that the House is taking up can and should wait and have a full and fair debate in January. Okay, sounds like your priorities are definitely in order. Give me some specifics on bills that would, either new bills, because of course, 3 months ago, none of us knew the pandemic was really going to be this impactful. So are there new bills you're looking at to address the issues of helping local governments, that sort of thing, or are these bills that were on the table? What specifically will you be looking at? Well, there are new bills that we're looking at. We've identified 30 on the Senate side that we think we should take up next week and then end our business for the year. And so we have about $2.5 billion of funding from the Federal CARES Act to dole out. We need to make sure that this gets to the hospitals and the healthcare workers who desperately need this money to continue to fight this pandemic. We need to also help out our local governments. We're going to send tens of millions of dollars to Memphis and Shelby County and our suburbs as well to ensure that they can continue to balance their budgets next year. We have to do our constitutional duty and balance our budget. And then finally, we want businesses to reopen. And one of the ways that we can help them do that is to make sure that they do not have frivolous lawsuits filed against them for the spread of disease when their businesses are reopening. Got you. There has been a committee working very closely with the governor on the best way to use the CARES Act money for the state. I'm assuming you guys are already pretty far down the road then in terms of determining how that money will be used based on what the committee will recommend? Well, they're just ideas at this point. In fact, I'm here at my office in Nashville because I'm a member of the Finance Committee, which is the only one that on the Senate side is meeting this week, and we meet later this afternoon. So we'll start to debate those issues. And sure, there are a lot of ideas out there, but this is what the legislative process is about, is hashing them out and making sure, again, that we help our healthcare workers first and foremost, but we also help our local governments to be able to balance their budgets in these hard times, as well as on the state level. But thankfully, we've been very conservative. We don't have a state income tax. That's helped us tremendously to be able to balance our budget. And then we've saved a lot, and we have a decent amount in the rainy day fund now that we can tap into to balance our budget on the state level. We've been very conservative for many years, and that has helped the people of Tennessee in this hard time. I did see a study, Senator Kelsey, yesterday, a national study, that Tennessee is number 7 in terms of individuals applying for loans, which certainly is an indication that though we have not been the most heavily impacted from a health standpoint, we obviously are very impacted from a financial standpoint. We know that the federal government has helped individuals with the stimulus checks. Is there any measure looking at the state government also helping individuals, or is there just not enough money to do that? Well, we don't have an income tax, as I said, so we're not planning on sending out $1,200 checks like the federal government did. But we desperately have to help all the people who are filing for unemployment insurance. And I get several calls a day about this. And so, first of all, I want to apologize to the people who applied at the very beginning. It took us a while to hire all the new people that we needed to process those claims on the state level. And we also, of course, had to add into the software the extra $600 that the federal government has added into that pot. So it's a decent amount of money that people are receiving. They just have to receive it. And so now I feel like we have that process down where we're generally processing claims in about a week. And so that's really helpful. But again, the other thing is businesses want to reopen, but they're scared about being sued if someone claims that they've contracted COVID-19 while coming to their store or their restaurant or whatever. And so that's extremely important. We've got about 25 different business groups who are working with us on legislation to ensure that they cannot, that they won't be subject to frivolous lawsuits on that issue. And that'll help businesses reopen.
I understand. And there is no movement on or change in the deadline to pass this balanced budget that is required by our Constitution, right? So I imagine that's really got to be number one on the hit parade because you don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah, that's right. We really just have pretty much a month, and then that's it. But again, on the Senate side, we think we can do our entire business and our constitutional duty to balance the budget in a week or two. On the House side, it's understandable that it takes them longer. I mean, some of the things that we already passed, they haven't even had a chance to take up. For example, my constitutional amendment on the right to work, it would ensure that every worker gets to choose whether or not to join a union. The House hasn't had a chance to take that up. So it takes them some time to catch up to us, and that's understandable. But still, on most of these issues, I think can wait until January. And we need to focus on the basics and make sure that we keep people safe and healthy and try to get this economy reopened as soon as possible.
All right. Well, we will look forward to checking back in with you and your colleagues there as you continue your service to the public. Thank you very much. And I know you're happy to get back to full session in Nashville. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.